What if a plane packed with people could just vanish from the sky? Or a man could leap from an airliner with a fortune and never be seen again? For decades, these haven't just been what-ifs. They're real-life events that have left the world's best and brightest searching for answers. Some cases seem to defy all logic, leaving behind nothing but chilling questions and baffling clues. Today we're digging into the evidence and the theories that have stumped experts for years, counting down the 10 unsolved mysteries that still keep them awake at night. Number 10. The theft of the Amber Room. We kick off our list with a treasure so incredible it was nicknamed the eighth wonder of the world. The Amber Room was a stunning chamber built in the early 18th century. Its walls were covered in over 6 tons of precious amber panels, gold leaf, and mirrors. It was originally a gift to Russian Tsar Peter the Great and became a breathtaking symbol of imperial power in the Catherine Palace near St. Petersburg. But that splendor made it a target. In 1941, during World War II, Nazi forces stormed into the Soviet Union, dismantled the entire room and shipped it to Königsberg, Germany, what is now Kaliningrad. And then it was gone. The real twist is how, in the chaos at the end of the war, every trace of this priceless work of art disappeared. Was it destroyed in an Allied bombing raid, loaded onto a ship that sank to the bottom of the sea? Or is it still hidden away in some secret bunker just waiting to be found? For decades, treasure hunters have scoured everything from shipwrecks to old salt mines. Hope was recently rekindled when, in 2025, researchers in Poland got permission to investigate a former SS training ground after ground-penetrating radar picked up a large unexplained anomaly. But until someone makes a definite discovery, the fate of the Amber Room remains one of the greatest stories of lost treasure in history. Number 9. The Salish Sea Feet. Some mysteries aren't just unsolved, they're genuinely unsettling. This one started back in August 2007 when a young girl found a sneaker that had washed up on a beach in British Columbia. Inside was a human foot, and it wasn't a one-time thing. Since then, more than 20 detached human feet, most of them right feet, and still inside running shoes, have been found on the coasts of the Salish Sea, spanning Canada and the United States. Of course, your mind immediately jumps to a serial killer, but forensic experts have a different idea. They've found no signs of tool marks or trauma on the remains, which suggests the feet weren't forcibly cut off. The leading scientific explanation is less sinister, but just as grim. The feet are believed to belong to people who died in accidents or by suicide in the water. Through a natural process called articulated disarticulation, the hands, feet, and head are often the first parts to separate from a body as it decomposes. The air-filled soles of modern sneakers are buoyant, carrying the feet to the surface and eventually to the shore. While many of the feet have been identified and matched to missing persons, several remain anonymous. With new discoveries reported as recently as 2023, each foot that washes ashore is a somber reminder of a life lost and a story that will probably never be fully told. Number 8. The Oak Island Money Pit. Our next mystery takes us to a small island off the coast of Nova Scotia, Canada, where a puzzle more than 2 centuries old is supposedly buried. The legend begins in 1795 when a teenager found a strange circular depression in the ground. Thinking it might be pirate treasure, he and his friends started digging. What they found wasn't treasure, but a shaft with layers of oak logs every 10 feet. A mystery that would attract generations of searchers and cost millions. The real turn in the Oak Island saga is its legendary engineering. The story goes that the pit is protected by a series of booby-trapped flood tunnels connected to the sea. According to the tale, once diggers hit a certain depth, water rushes in, making it almost impossible to continue. This has fueled all sorts of theories about who might have buried something so valuable, from the pirate Blackbeard to the Knights Templar. While modern efforts, famously documented on television, have unearthed interesting artifacts and man-made structures, the legendary Money Pit itself and its supposed booby traps remain unproven folklore. Despite all the technology, no central treasure vault has ever been breached, and whether it even exists is still the island's ultimate secret. Number 7. The Mary Celeste. On December 5th, 1872, the crew of a ship called the Dei Gratia saw another vessel adrift in the Atlantic Ocean. As they got closer, an eerie silence hung over it. No one was at the helm. This was the Mary Celeste, and it was completely deserted. When a party boarded the ship, the mystery only got weirder. The ship itself was perfectly seaworthy. Its cargo, over 1,700 barrels of industrial alcohol, was almost all there. The crew's personal items, food, and the captain's logbook were all left behind, with no signs of a fight. Yet the captain, his wife, their 2-year-old daughter, and the 7 crewmen were gone. The most baffling clue is what wasn't there. The lifeboat was missing, which suggests the crew left the ship on purpose. But why? Theories have been flying around for over 150 years, from pirates and mutiny to a giant squid or even a paranormal event. A more scientific theory points to the ship's cargo. It's possible that alcohol fumes built up in the hold and caused a pressure wave explosion, a frightening burst of flame that wouldn't leave scorch marks. This could have panicked the captain into ordering an evacuation, thinking the ship was about to go up in flames. They might have gotten into the lifeboat and tethered themselves to the ship, only for the rope to snap, leaving them stranded in the open ocean. But with no bodies ever found, the true fate of the 10 people aboard the Mary Celeste remains one of the greatest maritime mysteries of all time. Number 6. The Lost Colony of Roanoke. In 1587, more than 100 English men, women and children tried to establish the first permanent English colony in the New World on Roanoke Island, off the coast of what is now North Carolina. Their governor, John White, sailed back to England for more supplies later that year, but a war with Spain delayed his return. When he finally got back 3 years later, in 1590, the settlement was completely empty. There were no bodies, no signs of a struggle, nothing to explain what happened. The only clue was a single word carved into a post: Croatoan. Croatoan was the name of a nearby island, today called Hatteras Island, and the Native American tribe who lived there. This has always been the main theory, that the colonists, low on supplies, decided to join the friendly Croatoan people. For centuries, that's where the trail went cold. But incredible new archaeological work might be changing the story. Recent announcements in 2025 detailed the discovery of buckets of hammer scale, a byproduct of blacksmithing, found at a native village site on Hatteras Island. This indicates an English presence, working with metal for decades within the community. Some researchers now argue the colony wasn't lost at all, but that the story was a myth created for marketing centuries later. While these finds strongly support the idea of assimilation, the full story of the Roanoke settlers is still being pieced together. Go ahead and subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. Number 5. The murders of Jack the Ripper. In the fall of 1888, a dark shadow fell over the gaslit streets of London's Whitechapel district. A serial killer, known only by his terrifying name Jack the Ripper, began a reign of terror. He targeted female prostitutes, and his crimes were known for their horrifying brutality and what seemed to be anatomical knowledge. At least 5 women are officially attributed to him, their bodies left horribly mutilated in the city's poorest alleyways. What turned these horrific crimes into an enduring legend was the killer's sheer nerve. He taunted the police and the press, famously sending letters signed Jack the Ripper, which cemented his name in history. Despite a massive manhunt and citywide panic, he was never caught. He just seemed to melt back into the London slums and disappear. Over the last century, countless suspects have been proposed, from doctors to artists. In recent years, modern science has tried to finally close the case. DNA analysis on a shawl said to belong to one of the victims, Catherine Eddowes, pointed to a Polish barber named Aaron Kosminski, who was a suspect at the time. While some researchers claimed a strong DNA match, critics have questioned whether the shawl is authentic and if the DNA evidence is contaminated, arguing it's far from conclusive. Without definitive proof, the true identity of Jack the Ripper remains shrouded in the London fog, making it history's most infamous cold case. Number 4. The Voynich manuscript. Coming in at number 4 is a mystery that has nothing to do with crime, but everything to do with a code. Kept at Yale University, the Voynich manuscript is a 240-page book written in the early 1400s. Its pages are filled with an elegant, flowing script, but it's in a language that no one on Earth can read. Along with the text are hundreds of strange illustrations, fantastical plants that don't exist, complex astrological charts, and small nude figures bathing in strange green liquid. For more than a century, the world's best cryptographers, linguists, and even AI programs have all tried to crack its code, and all of them have failed. Is it a lost language, a complex cipher, or just an elaborate hoax? The strange thing is, the text seems to follow clear linguistic patterns suggesting it isn't just gibberish. Theories range from a secret guide to herbal medicine to a meaningless but beautiful object designed to trick a wealthy collector. AI has been used to analyze the text's structure, but so far, it has also come up empty, with some attempts producing completely wrong results. Until someone finally finds the key, the Voynich manuscript remains the world's most mysterious book. A puzzle that has kept its secrets locked away for 600 years. Number 3. The disappearance of MH370. On March 8, 2014, Malaysia Airlines Flight 370, a modern Boeing 777, took off from Kuala Lumpur heading to Beijing with 239 people on board. About an hour into the flight, it vanished from the air traffic control radar. The plane's transponder was shut off, and its last communication was a calm, "Good night, Malaysian 370, then nothing. But the plane didn't just fall out of the sky. Military radar tracked it for another hour as it flew wildly off course, turning back across the Malay Peninsula and heading out over the Indian Ocean. The mystery of MH370 is a chilling example of modern technology failing in the face of the unknown. The crucial turn in the investigation came from satellite data, which showed that the plane's systems continued to send automated pings for several more hours. This suggested it flew on for a huge distance before running out of fuel and allowed investigators to plot a massive arc in the remote southern Indian Ocean where the plane most likely went down. Debris confirmed to be from the plane has since washed ashore on the African coast, but the main wreckage and the black boxes have never been found. Theories range from catastrophic mechanical failure to a hijacking or even an intentional act by the pilot. The private company Ocean Infinity launched a new, technologically advanced search in early 2026, methodically scanning a targeted area, but as of mid-January 2026, no definitive findings have been reported. For the families of the 239 people who were lost, it's an agonizing wait for answers in modern aviation's greatest enigma. Number 2. The Zodiac Killer. This is the Zodiac speaking. For years, those words struck fear across Northern California. Between 1968 and 1969, a serial killer known only as the Zodiac murdered at least 5 people, though he taunted police by claiming he had killed as many as 37. His attacks were brutal and seemed random. But what turned the Zodiac from just another murderer into a figure of dark American folklore was his communication. The big twist was how he directly engaged with the public and police. He sent a series of taunting letters and cryptic ciphers to newspapers in the Bay Area. While some were solved, revealing his twisted motives, his most complex cipher remained unsolved for over 50 years. The case went cold, but it was never forgotten. Thousands of suspects were looked into, but the killer's identity was never found. In recent years, many hoped that genetic genealogy, the same tech that caught the Golden State Killer, could finally unmask the Zodiac. But as of late 2025, while investigators have re-examined evidence from the letters, no definitive DNA match has ever been announced by law enforcement. The case continues to fascinate amateur sleuths, but the Zodiac Killer simply vanished, leaving behind a puzzle of letters, symbols, and unsolved murders that still frustrates experts today. Number 1. The hijacking of D.B. Cooper. Topping our list is the only unsolved skyjacking in American history. On Thanksgiving Eve, 1971, a man in a business suit using the name Dan Cooper boarded a flight in Portland, Oregon. Shortly after takeoff, he passed a flight attendant a note, calmly saying he had a bomb. His demands were straightforward: $200,000 in cash and 4 parachutes. The demand was met when the plane landed in Seattle. After he let the passengers go, he ordered the pilots to take off again, flying low and slow toward Mexico City. And here's the turn that made him a legend. Somewhere over the rugged forests of southwestern Washington, Cooper did the unthinkable. He lowered the rear stairs, Boeing 727, and, with the money strapped to his body, jumped out into the freezing night, disappearing completely. The FBI launched a massive investigation that lasted for decades, but they never found the man. The only trace ever recovered was in 1980, when a boy found several bundles of the ransom money badly decayed on the banks of the Columbia River. The FBI officially closed the active case in 2016, but speculation is far from dead. In late 2025, reports began to surface that the FBI was reopening the case to apply new forensic technology to the evidence left behind, like the clip-on tie he left on his seat. Did he survive the jump? Did he get away with the money? D.B. Cooper's bold crime and ghost-like escape have made him one of America's most baffling fugitives. Conclusion. From a priceless room made of amber to a skyjacker who literally jumped into the void, these 10 cases push the limits of modern investigation. They're the stories that remind us that not every question has an answer and that some secrets might just stay secret forever. Experts with all their technology and knowledge keep coming back to these files, hoping to find the one clue that could finally crack the case. But until then, they remain truly unsolved. Which of these mysteries do you find the most baffling? Do you have a theory we didn't mention? Let us know what you think in the comments below. And if you want to keep exploring the world's greatest enigmas, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next investigation. Thanks for watching.